You got to stretch it out a little.
Ray? Thank you all. Please relax for a second. I lost Nick, so if anybody sees him. Let's go a little bit over what we did yesterday for just a second. You remember the cell phone thing? Okay, that when somebody grabs you, instead of thinking about what you're going to do to them, get that back to yourself. Instead of trying to fight him for your phone, just answer your phone, okay? So, please. So again, I don't have my phone with me, but yesterday we showed, if somebody, you're always having your phone in your hand, and you attach yourself to your phone, and he immediately sees that, and he tries to control you, and you're so attached to your phone, you're thinking, oh God, I paid $600 for this, and so you're more concerned about your phone's value than your own, okay? The main thing is to understand your own value. So if he grabs me, first thing I don't think is, how do I get the phone? I think, how do I get myself free? Okay, now. But you notice, I'm not attacking him. I'm still thinking of him. And I don't try to throw him. I try to put him, a little bit what we'll talk about today is transfer. Don't try to throw somebody. Throwing is a word for a ball. You throw a ball. You don't throw a human being. Remember, when you're throwing somebody, you're throwing a person. Okay? So, no, same hand. Notice that things are in agreement. Hands, bodies. We're all in agreement first. I don't try to throw him when he's going somewhere else. Don't throw somebody where they're not going already. We've agreed to go the same direction. You pivot to change the base. You don't throw somebody who's got a base. You change the base. Now the base, he wants to have a new base. You weight him. Gravity's taking him. I want you to take him to that point. I want you to feel that point. Instead of immediately getting to that, throwing him, I want you to get a point where you can hold him up with one finger. You're just like this, and then let the finger go. Okay? One finger. You can even be hit. Oh! Now, you know what happens when people are in that position? They want to fall. They throw themselves. If you get an opponent that wants to throw himself, you got it. Okay, please work with that. Thank you very much. I'm glad to do How we get better is don't go from technique to technique so much as do the technique and then option, change, adjust. We tend to learn techniques like I did that one, and then there's another one called this, and then there's another one called that, rather than this is an option for the next one. This is the next option, and Patrick was doing it. One thing I want to do, I talked about human being. Oh, I have to, by the way, confession. I cheated. You don't just do this. You change the very first thing you meet. He wants to grab me here, and I'm saying, oh, you mean grab me there. He had no intention of that grip. So automatically he has to restart. One thing you want your opponent to do.
They can't see it.
Oh, sorry. So I'm like, you want to grab? And he's like, I wanted to grab. Now I have to get something else. So you give your opponent something other than his expectation. Before you throw him, you're like, you want to grab here? I didn't pull him down. His desire to grab threw him down. The difference is it's his energy against himself, as opposed to, come on down here. That's my energy imposing on his. It's like, you want this? Where? All you're doing is mutually saying, I'll take your energy if you'll do this. And because he wants it so bad, he does it to himself. Our primary thing should be let the opponent make his own problems. Gives me less to work with. So I have to say I cheated. As he gives it, here, take that. He turns his body to get that. Now he gave me a new problem. Change where you were doing the same phone thing. Don't change because he changes. Change because you're free. So again, he locks and says, I saw you doing. Okay, the phone moves over here. Phone goes back over there. So if you get stuck, don't quit on your technique. Find a new place to apply it. So the two things are preemptively touch him, and when stuck, don't quit. Find a new place to apply. Okay, please continue. Nice. Now, one thing, like you're doing this, we've experienced works, but we have to also understand the attacker has an experience too. You have to not just say, it's what I experienced that's going to work. You have to learn from the attacker. The attacker gives you information. When you end up thinking, well, I'll impose the information, you don't get the feedback. The attacker will tell you what you need to know. You need to become more cognizant of that instead of automatically thinking to yourself, this is what's going to happen. A technique is not just a thing to do, it's a thing to learn from. It teaches you. It tells you information. One of the things that I feel, people misunderstand the dual purpose of technique. The first job of your technique is self-defense, protection. It is not to throw him. If you start off by throwing him, you forget to protect yourself. So when he does something, I don't do that to throw him. I do it to put protection between him and I. Come at me. I have protection. It was never to throw him. It was to say, this area is mine. I can operate behind it safely. Okay? Because if you understand that the depth of a technique, you get fuller. When you just think of it as a tool to throw, you really minimize what it does. You really take away its value. Technique is much bigger than that. Okay? It tells me range. Right now I'm on my heels. It tells me I'm on my heels. See the difference? It was not, if I was doing the technique to him, I wouldn't know that I'm on my heels now. But the technique that I'm beginning to execute tells me you need to step back. That now tells me where he's going. He's coming into that space. I should feel the technique.
Stop it.
I didn't put my hand up there. The technique and the information told me do it. I didn't decide to do the throw beforehand. What was happening told me. So he's different. He's different. Did I do a different technique because I chose to? Or did I do a different technique because that's what needed to be done? I've learned this technique. I want this technique. Technique is just form. It'll change, okay? Do whatever techniques you want to do. I don't care. The phone thing, throw it away. It's a disposable phone anyway. What I want is the freedom within technique. I don't want you to let technique control you. I want it to release you. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just offering the hand. Oh, he chose that hand. You notice I didn't say, let me do this technique. I want you to actually don't do my technique. I'm restricting you from doing my technique. I want you to do your technique. Because guess what? You're going to do it anyway. Why should I try to make you do my technique? Do what the heck you want to do. Right, Chris? It's good. Okay? But please do it so that you're informed by your technique. The thing that you have. I don't want it to change. I just want you to add the freedom to let it teach you. Okay? Be informed. Main thing, learn to protect yourself. Oh, at least that's not me he's hitting. It's still important to me. I don't want to give him my fingers, but it's not me. He's going to hit me. The hand is not first to throw him, it's to put something to inform me where distance is, direction. Please, do whatever you want, but please do it freely. The whole way through, you're not listening to uke. If you keep your technique, I did it and I'm not going to change, you are not respecting uke's changes. You need to change as you see uke change. Please. I'm going here because he's going to go there and then I'm going to come and then I'm going to throw him. All right? He may change. You need to change. So I'm going here, I'm doing this. He's walked away from me. Wait a minute, you're supposed to go that way. I'm headed that way. I don't respect it. It's like, no, come back and go. No, he's, okay, we'll start to go where you're going. Oh, well, I'll build a brace there. Well, I see your brace and I'll raise you a little forward motion. Okay, but I've reached my limit. I'm thinking about my hands. You ever throw anybody with your butt? Yeah. Learn to do it. Okay? Learn your whole body. Don't learn just your hands. It's your whole body that's doing it anyway. But we tend to go, it's my hands that are going to make him go flying. But your hands are only limited to what your hands do what hands do, feet do what feet do. The mind does what the mind does. Use the part appropriately. Inform yourself. You are the one that needs to be taught, not the opponent. So again, good. Oh, please, hold. Ooh, oh, what happened just there? Just explain.
I was trying to grab your wrist.
He was trying to grab my wrist. Key point. If he grabs your wrist and he effectively stops you, what was wrong? Please, somebody.
You didn't go with him.
Huh?
You didn't go with him.
I didn't go with him. That's true. What else?
You didn't follow where he's headed.
Right, but that's still result oriented.
You didn't change the relationship?
I didn't change the relationship. He wanted it here. If I want it to be different, I have to change my part of the relationship first. Not you change first. If we change him without changing ourselves, we're wrong, okay? So, again, you want that? It'll be on this side of this balance line. Okay? Don't reach over to his side. You want that, because guess who just crossed the balance line? Guess what? If you're not throwing him, if you're not throwing somebody, you're already being thrown yourself. There's no free period in between. You have to keep this going. Be aware of every movement. For example, we were talking, and he was doing this move, and he was over here, here. I'm not picking on Brian. I like Brian a lot. But he was other places. When you do this, you're here. I see everything. I don't start going over there yet. I go here. I see it. I'm aware. I'm aware of every move that's made. I feel the awareness says, oh, he got stronger. Aren't you trying to be stronger here?
Yes, sir.
You are trying to be stronger here, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Why is that fear in your voice? Because he feels something's not working right. Now I feel more resistance. I did this with somebody else. This is what I say about changing your relationship to the person. I start to chase him. Guess whose relationship I've changed more? My own. You're allowed to, what I call transfer. I can keep this. I'm just going to do it with that hand. That frees up, hey, I'm back free again. But we get stuck in, I got to keep going with what I started, as opposed to changing as each thing happens. When I started throwing people from that aspect, instead of the one place that I touched them, it freed me up. It wasn't that it got more powerful with him. I got things back that I was not using. So if you feel stuck, unstick yourself. Don't try to do your opponent. Please continue with whatever you want, but keep that in mind. Thank you, sir. Thank you for... I like people's problems to become everybody's problem. Okay? But one of the things that we get caught in is, well, if it's bad, fast, be faster. Why would it get better by being faster? One of the skills you need to develop is not just get faster with your technique of, grab. I'll get over there fast, is slow him up. Keep him slow. Now see, his attacks aren't coming fast enough. I have more time to do things because I'm not trying to outlast you. Okay? Learn to slow your opponent down rather than speed up all the time. Because that's a game that you give away more than he comes faster, slow him down. I watched a very good Aikidoist, and he had a very young student, and he kept trying to get faster than the student, and the student got faster and faster and faster. I said, you know what? The student's younger. He'll always be faster. So make the student old. Slow him down. Give him less energy, and also variety. Fast. Here, you can have it. Slow. Yeah. I'm not trying to get him. I'm not trying to do technique. I'm doing self-defense. Thank you. Here. Thank you. Here. Thank you. Thank you. You're attacking me, right? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're giving, what you want to give an attacker is the diminishment of, well, I can't get what I want. Ushiba. I love about O-sensei the one fact that people miss entirely. He could throw anybody, yes, but he couldn't be thrown by anybody. You got to have both. If you want to throw everybody, you have to not be able to be thrown. But if we're so busy chasing, I got to throw, you forget the balance. How not to be thrown. I was in the Nationals in judo one time, and there was a Japanese man that came in named Soichi Otaka. 30 years, and I still remember the name. Amazing. Had to be in the super heavyweight, even though he was about 170 pounds, because they wouldn't let a non-American compete in their weight group, because that would have been bad if he'd won. A non-American winning the American championship. But Soichi Otaka had no chance strength-wise. He had some 270-pound guys in his weight class. And there was no way Soichi Otaka was going to ever be able to stop them. They came barreling in and picked Soichi Otaka up. And his feet, I swear, that high off the ground. And it's like, he's gone. And Soichi Otaka said, you can lift me. You can't bend me. And he made himself like an iron rod. He just said, I don't bend. And these guys went. It was 30. When you see something like that, that's worth a lifetime of study. I don't bend. He didn't try to do to uke. He said, this is what belongs to me. This is mine. Beautiful. Camera, selfie, whatever. I would have loved to capture that. Oh God, would I have loved to capture that. It's just man saying, you were trying to throw me. Full in himself. Complete. It's tough. Our egos want to get information back that tells us we're good enough, we're young enough, we're pretty enough. We need validation, right? Let that go and you'll get it. But if you're chasing it, it's running from you. what became really beautiful for me is when I stopped chasing techniques, and it's like birds, they started flocking to me. Techniques will come to you when you let them. Okay? So please, let them come, please. Religious. So, okay? I did judo with a great sensei here. And I met him and thought, this is great. And then I went to Japan and I saw him again. And he did the same stuff. And I was like, he's still great. And one of the mistakes we get is we think things are better in other places, or if other people teach us it. My revelation was, you know, a lot of people study martial arts. I got to go to Japan to study. Like, going to Japan is great. My wife is Japanese. I go to Japan. But we think we'll get better in our art in another place. The revelation I had was, you know what? They have the same gravity in Japan that we have. It was mind-boggling. Gravity is the same in both countries. Well, then if that throw works, why is it going to work better? Because it's in Japan. I should be able to do it here just as good as I do it in Japan. It was mind-boggling. I thought I could go to Japan to get better. We do. We should go for the other experiences. But gravity works in Japan the same way, believe me, as it does here. Here's kind of another sacrilegious thing. Well, oh, Sensei was better than you. Well, he was. But he had the same body and he dealt with the same energy. You are possibly the next O Sensei. We're like, no, you can't be. He was great then. Great is still existing. We limit ourselves. It's better over there. He was better at that time than we are. The same greatness that O Sensei had is on this mat, this moment. Because gravity is the same today, tomorrow, and every day. The body that O Sensei had, we have one just like it. Yeah, but I don't know all the things that O Sensei knows. O Sensei didn't know all the things O Sensei knows. We are capable of much more if we realize what's there rather than try to go and get and find and get better. I need to get better. Be good now. Better's going to come, okay? I tell you this because I love martial artists. They're great people, but sometimes they're crazy. They're crazy. And how you can validate that is how the outside world looks at us. Why do you guys do that? You know, if they're asking us that question, we need to ask, why am I doing this? Find out why you're doing Aikido. More important than doing any art is understanding why you're doing it. If you don't understand why you're doing it, stop doing it and begin to learn to understand it. Then go back to doing it. Understand what brought you here, and always, always seek it. Always seek that first, what I call a spark. Something sparks us. That's the most important part you can have. When you start a fire, what's most important? The spark. When you practice your martial art, remember the spark. If it's gone, you've got to find it. Fire, because that's what will keep you going when it doesn't work. I'm not teaching you my technique over here. What I'm trying to do is, martial arts is difficult. You need to give yourself some slack. Don't be hard. Some of the people that are hardest on themselves in martial arts are the people because you always think, I got to get better. I'm bad. I failed. You are so accomplished compared to a lot of people. I wish I could do that. And you're doing it, right? But you tend to be like, but I want to do it better. I want to be as good as him. And you shortcut yourself. It is a kind of a speech. It's less about doing martial arts and understanding why you do them. When you understand why you do them, it gives you a clearer path. Okay? Who have I not touched? Have I touched you before?
Yesterday.
Okay. I touched you yesterday. I'll touch you today. Now, I noticed this shomanate, or to the chin. And we go up to do technique, right? We go up to, And what happened, what did I do? I raised everything, trying to get this. Cut, push. I don't try to put down that. I put this where something, I don't try to run away from it. I put it somewhere else. I want you to let your body inform you. Now, where's my body touching it? My shoulder. If I bring up my hands, I forget my shoulder. He turned, I turned. See how he's... It was adjustment, 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 adjustment. It was not, he moved, I moved, he moved, I moved. Try to always make adjustments before changes. Adjustments before changes. Because changes disconnect you to allow you to connect to something else. An adjustment keeps you close to what's right. Okay? So adjustments before changes. I'm so glad I came here. And particularly what I'm glad what happened is a gathering of people that I didn't get to see on the internet that now have faces, they have bodies too, and ideas. That was great to come into. And I was fortunate enough, this gentleman over there, look at him and make him feel embarrassed. This gentleman did something in martial arts, and this is the spark I'm talking about. This gentleman did something in martial arts 30 or 28 years ago or 38 years ago that I've never seen and will never see. I've never seen anybody do it since. And I was like, that's not possible. And you know, I've got a lot of experience, I got a lot of background. It's like, it's gotta be possible. But even the doors were like gone. And I'm like, I can't do that. You know what? I'm still gonna do it. And one day I'll learn to do that.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. Like I say, this time, this moment. Gravity now. The thing he did, but you don't necessarily have to do it. We do an exercise called Kokidosa, where you sit, you blend, and you hold hands, and you lean them off balance. It's not about moving your feet, it's about moving your shin. And I can Kokidosa with people. That's easy. So Armando Sensei said, do Kokidosa. I did Kokidosa. It's like, I almost got him. And I noticed he's really far out. And he's really far, and I'm like this. And Armando Sensei's back was about that far from the ground. Now again, the objective is I get him further. And I'm like, you almost got me. And I'm like this. Yes, I've almost got you down. I'm dying for that inch. I am dying for that inch. I want that inch more than anything. And then he says to me, that's pretty good. And I go, oh, good. And then he gets right back up. And I'm like, what? I don't know what was more important that he threw me, but the fact that he just said, oh, have you got it? And I just, yeah, I know I got you. And he just put himself back into place. 30 years, I'm still remembering that. In 30 years, I'll still be. But one day, I will do that. Okay? The last thing, I was so glad that this brought me there, but I didn't even recognize him. It's like, what you doing in Oklahoma? So I asked him if he could please demonstrate for you some things. Please.
Sensei, thank you. Yeah. It's very unusual to hear Brendan speak, because I swear to God, he's copied every word I've ever said in my life. Right? The object of Aikido is not to force Aikido on individuals. It's to encourage them to do Aikido. Aikido is not a skill. It is a way of life. In every way and everything we do. No matter what it is and how you present it. If I was to be your instructor, and I sat down on the mat, and I was like, okay, we're going to do Aikido today, and do your best. Presentation, extension, right? Look at the difference. All I did was change my posture. Posture, attitude is important to everything and everything you do. Right? I'm going to teach you some techniques today. Be realistic. I'm going to show you some movements. Right? You're listening to me, not looking at my presentation of how silly this looks. I want to direct something to you. I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to be very interesting today. Boom, he goes, yeah, bring it on. Oh, right here. That's what it should be. I should put enthusiasm into your spirit, not just into your body. Bring everything that you do together as one thing, which is called your center. Keep one point. Don't let other people bug you. So you're sitting there in yoga. You get up, have road rage. Okay, where'd that go? Am I correct? I do yoga, I'm doing. Get out of the way!
Get out of the way, I'm on my way to get peace.
Right? So the combination of movements that I do, right? I do traditional Aikido, I've done Judo, to Eskrima, Iaido, Kendo. Right, Brendan? And I do it all at one time. Right? Everything is not, what am I going to do to you? What am I going to encourage you to do? Not make you do. All Aikido is a positioning of yourself to make him, convince him to do something for you that he didn't know he could do. Whoa, I just did a Kotegaishi. I don't even know how I got down on the floor. Well, I'm sorry. Right? Brendan. So you have a combination of movements. Whoa, let's see, there was Judo, Aikido, let's see, what else? But it was with the presentation. Y'all guys were like, holy cow! Right? Not this. Presentation is off. You want to know how to really bug someone? Offline. So, what we're doing today is we're teaching, he's like, what the heck is going on? Right? So what happens is, you have what's called spiritual confrontation. You don't want to do that. Right? He comes at me, here. Yes, he's like, what the heck's back there? Versus this. Oh yeah, see the confidence? Oh yeah, baby. He got it. Right? He's got the confidence. What is the worst thing in the world that can happen? You wake up tonight, bam, hit you over the foot of the bed. Oh man, that hurts. Worse than someone hit you. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So if he was some oh, that hurt. He ran into you by accident. Didn't you see that one coming, did you?
No.
Here, so they're going to record you?
Do I sing? Where do you put this?
On your head like a headband?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding!
Kitty.
Have Jason next. There's one thing I wanted to say. Thank you, Sensei. Please thank him. Thank each other. Let me tell you, like, when you find out what you're doing, whatever you do it so well that you inspire someone else. The biggest accomplishment you can make is make somebody else want to do what you do. I call it, I aspire to inspire. Stop getting it, I need this, I want this. Just do it well enough so that other people want to do it too. That's the highest. Black belts, forget it. Fame, forget it. Somebody said, I want to do what he's doing. If you don't do it that well, you need to start doing it that way.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, we'll have a short break for bio.